Hey, I'm Father Nick Rotman, and here's a thought that I had today. Again, I've been thinking about how we can approach this situation or think about this situation where we can't receive Holy Communion right now. And a thought that came to me was solidarity. I don't know if you have heard the word solidarity before in the context of the Catholic faith, but in the Catholic faith it means having a real sense of brotherhood with empathy, sympathy with other people who may be in different situations. So, as we can't receive Holy Communion, maybe we could have solidarity with other people who can't receive Holy Communion. An obvious example that comes to mind is people who are in irregular marriage situations, right? So they have gotten divorced and remarried. And so actually, in the eyes of God, in the eyes of the church, they're currently not married. They're living in adultery. And so, of course, the church says, well, you can't receive communion. Or at least you can't receive communion until you go through the annulment process and get your marriage validated in the church. So that's a long process. A lot of our brothers and sisters who are out there who are, they want their marriage blessed in the church. They're patiently going through the process, the annulment process, which can be lengthy, and they accept the fact that the life that they're living right now is out of joint with what Jesus teaches. But maybe there's kids, or there can be other reasons why they can't just live apart, not live together anymore until the church can validate their marriage. And so they know that they can't receive communion until something happens. Or again, there's other examples. For example, people who are experience homosexual attractions, right? And maybe they're living with someone of the same sex, and they know that that's not God's plan for them. But right now, they don't know what else to do. They only feel accepted there. Or we could be talking about like a pro-abortion politician. You still find people who are Catholic but also pro-choice, and they believe that abortion should be part of the law of our land. Well, although unfortunately you don't find this always happening in the church today, if they were coming to our parish, they were a public official who had taken this position, they would be denied Holy Communion, and they would know it, right? And we could think of other examples too. There are people who, because of the state of life in which they are living, and because they're not yet able or ready to take the move where they want to, let's assume that they want to repent, but they just can't step out of whatever it is they're doing on a dime, on the spur of the moment. There are things that have to happen first. Well, during that time where they're waiting, they can't receive Holy Communion. Even though they want to, even though they want to repent and be right with the church, they have to abstain until whatever it is that has to happen happens. So we can be in solidarity with them. We have to go for a couple of months without receiving Holy Communion. Some of these people have to go for years without receiving Holy Communion. And many of them do. I often think that the faith of those people who go, although they're living in a way that they know is not quite according to God's law, they are still very much aware of the real presence of Jesus in the communion, and they will not receive for exactly that reason. I often think that maybe their faith is stronger than a lot of ours because they are really living it. So let us be, during this time when we can't be receiving Holy Communion, let's be in solidarity with those people who have to refrain from receiving Holy Communion a lot longer than we do, so that they can feel like they have a place in the church too, because they do. We want to support them, pray for them, and help them along the way until, like us, they can look forward to receiving Holy Communion again. Just a thought.